right and left, and that is it. History is made in Tokyo.
The drama surrounding power in boxing often centers on size, technique, or reputation. But every once in a while, the sport produces two fighters who force the conversation into something deeper. Naoya Inoue and Nick Ball do not simply punch hard. They reshape what strength looks like in the ring. One is the monster, a fighter who ends nights with a single, surgical touch. The other is the menace, a force of pressure so suffocating it feels less like a fight and more like an unending surge of violence. Both destroy opponents, but they destroy them in radically different ways. And in that difference lies the question fans argue without pause. Who holds the true power? To understand the gravity of that question, you have to return to the nights where their strength wasn't described by commentators or measured by numbers. You have to go back to the fights where it was filmed, where you can literally watch one punch collapse a world-class fighter's balance, or 12 rounds of pressure drain the willpower out of a man until his back turns involuntarily. Only then does the debate become something real, something that can be seen rather than just imagined. And so the story begins in Tokyo, in the nights where Naoya Inoue announced himself as something different. Before the world knew him as the monster, before he was mentioned as one of the best fighters alive, Inoue gave a warning. Short, violent, unmistakable. It took less than 2 rounds. It took only 3 punches that truly mattered. And it happened against a man who was not supposed to crumble so easily. Emmanuel Rodriguez entered their fight undefeated, confident, and composed. He stepped out for the first round as if he understood exactly what he needed to do. Be first, control distance, interrupt the rhythm before it began. He moved with intention, measuring range carefully, popping the jab, trying to force Inoue to slow down. For a moment, it looked like a strategic battle, like the start of a carefully contested championship fight. But you can't strategize against a punch that wrecks your internal wiring. Inoue slipped forward, reading distance with that calm, unhurried expression he always carries, and in a single sharp motion delivered the shot that changed everything. There was no wind-up, no dramatic shift in posture, no sense that something catastrophic was coming. The punch seemed simple, almost minimal. And then Rodriguez hit the canvas in a way no fighter wants to hit it, straight down, not stumbling, not wobbling, just dropping like the connection between his feet and equilibrium had been cut in an instant. He got back up quickly, the way proud fighters always do, but the speed of his rise didn't mask the truth. His legs were not cooperating. Instinct lifted him, not stability. And Inoue, sensing it with the accuracy of a hunter, closed in again. Another precise entry. Another textbook punch. Another collapse. The second knockdown mirrored the first. Rodriguez's eyes were awake. His mind was alert enough to register what had happened. But the body beneath him refused to obey. By the third, he was lifting himself not with purpose, but with pure reflex, like a man pulling himself out of a nightmare without fully understanding how he got there. The referee saw what Rodriguez couldn't admit and stopped the fight. It was over in minutes. That night didn't just show Inoue's talent. It showed the terrifying truth behind his power. He does not need chaos. He does not need exchanges. He does not need accumulation. He is one of the rare fighters whose strength is so precisely delivered, so mechanically clean, that even elite athletes fall as if the laws of balance have been rewritten mid-fight. It was the kind of performance that tells the boxing world something essential, that strength at its highest level is not visible in the size of the muscles or the volume of punches thrown. Real strength, the dangerous kind, is found in efficiency. It is the violence that arrives without warning. If the Rodriguez fight was a study in destruction through sequence, the Jamie McDonnell fight was destruction in a moment. McDonnell was taller, rangier, and proven. Toughness wasn't a question with him. It was a reputation. He'd fought bigger men, stronger men, and survived. But survival has no meaning when a punch is built perfectly from the ground up. The left hook Inoue delivered was not simply fast. It was structured. It was everything a coach tries to teach reduced into a single frame of time. Hips turning, weight transferring, feet anchoring into the canvas, timing intersecting perfectly with McDonald's movement. The shot had no wasted motion. It was the kind of punch that doesn't just hit a man, it removes his ability to stand. McDonald's legs folded as if something inside him had been switched off. He attempted to rise, eyes determined, but equilibrium betrayed him instantly. The referee took one look and knew what everyone else already sensed. The fight wasn't continuing. This is the essence of Inoue's force. He doesn't look physically overwhelming. He doesn't rely on brawling. He rarely loads up visibly. But when he lands with full clarity, when timing, angle, distance, and mechanics line up, the result is catastrophic. That's why knockdowns against him look identical. It's why referees jump in quickly. And it's why trainers, commentators, and opponents all describe his power with the same tone: controlled, precise, frightening. Inoue is lightning. Sudden, clean, unavoidable. But the story of power in boxing is never one-dimensional. On the opposite end of the spectrum stands Nick Ball, a completely different type of danger. If Inoue is the one-punch eraser of confidence, Ball is the grinder of resistance, the suffocating tide that forces men not to fall, but to surrender. His strength isn't measured in the single strike. It is measured in the slow, inevitable collapse of everything an opponent tries to do to stay alive. The clearest illustration of this was his fight with Nathaniel Kakalolo. Unlike Inoue's performances, this wasn't about sudden disaster. It wasn't about 3 precise punches ending a night early. It was about pace, a pace that ordinary fighters cannot replicate, a pace that eats at a man's lungs and legs until his body betrays him. From round 1, Ball marched forward, unbothered by movement, unshaken by counters, unwilling to take even a moment off. Fighters who face him don't just face punches. They face suffocation. Ball's right hand landed repeatedly, so often that commentary struggled to count the number of clean connections. Some were big, some were small. None needed to be dramatic on their own, because the danger wasn't in the individual moment. It was in the stacking of moments, the way pressure grows in a sealed room, slowly at first, then suddenly overwhelming. Kakalolo attempted everything a smart fighter tries against pressure: movement to create angles, counters to earn respect, distance to breathe. None of it lasted. Ball cut the ring down with small, efficient steps, not lunging wildly, but closing space with the confidence of a fighter who understands exactly how limited an opponent's options are. Pressure makes the ring feel smaller. Ball makes it feel suffocating. By the final round, Kakalolo didn't drop to the canvas. He didn't get knocked out clean. He did something more revealing. He turned his back. The body language of surrender is unmistakable. When a fighter turns away, it's not a strategic choice. It's instinct overriding pride, the physical truth that the pace, the punches, and the pressure have exceeded what the body can endure. It's one of the clearest signals of defeat in boxing. More honest than a knockout, more telling than a stoppage. And when the referee intervened, Ball simply walked away as if this was exactly how he expected the fight to end. Because for him, it usually is. Where Inoue's strength is a single explosion, Ball's strength is an unending storm. It is the difference between being struck by lightning and being caught in a flood. One hits with catastrophic impact. The other overwhelms until resistance becomes impossible. To truly grasp the depth of Ball's danger, you have to look at what he does between the big moments. His pressure is not reckless. It is a system, a structure. He layers his offense with details most pressure fighters ignore. He uses a jab with real force. Not a flick, not a rangefinder, but a punch that stuns long enough to take another step forward. Every time that jab lands, the ring shrinks a little more. Every time he steps forward behind it, the opponent loses ground, not just physically, but psychologically. And then there are the stance switches. Ball doesn't change stances for flash. He does it to break rhythm, to reset angles, to force opponents into defensive reactions they weren't expecting. A punch thrown from an unexpected angle doesn't have to be perfect to be effective. It only has to arrive at a moment the opponent isn't prepared to defend. Ball understands this deeply. It turns simple exchanges into controlled chaos, chaos that he always seems more comfortable navigating than the man in front of him. Crowds sense it too. As Ball increases pace, the arena tightens. Commentary voices start to strain. Fans rise in anticipation. You can feel the pressure radiating from the ring, turning the fight into an event you watch less with your eyes and more with your adrenaline. His offense doesn't just land. It alters the energy in the building. The fight with Vargas captured this perfectly. From the opening bell, Ball circled with the patience of a predator. He didn't rush. He didn't overcommit. He probed with small jabs, stepped in and out of range, switched stances, and slowly forced Vargas to react more than initiate. He was creating a pattern, and when the moment finally came, he broke it with devastating accuracy. The right hand he landed was a punch thrown with full conviction, the kind of shot a fighter throws when he knows he has conditioned his opponent to expect something else. It connected flush along the jaw and immediately produced the kind of reaction that sends shock through a crowd. Vargas' legs stiffened. His balance disappeared. His body posture changed not like a man hit clean, but like a man whose internal system had taken a violent jolt. Most fighters at that point would swarm wildly. They'd chase the finish recklessly. Not Ball. He pressed forward with measured aggression, allowing no space for Vargas to recover, but refusing to blow the opportunity with desperation. Vargas grabbed, clinched, tried to hold, tried to run seconds off the clock. His body told the truth even when his mind refused. He was still in danger. A rough, messy exchange followed, and Ball forced a knockdown. Further proof of how deeply that single shot had shaken Vargas. But Vargas, being tough, wasn't done. Later, he scored a knockdown of his own, a reminder that even a hurt fighter can be dangerous in the late rounds. Yet Ball didn't waver. He didn't retreat. He didn't let doubt enter the equation. He surged again, returning to his pace, his pressure, his grind. And in the final seconds, he delivered another crushing left hand that rattled Vargas and electrified the arena. That moment, those final seconds where fatigue should have slowed him but didn't, revealed the core of who Ball is. A fighter who becomes more threatening with time, not less. So now the question becomes unavoidable. Who possesses the real power? What does power even mean in a fight? And how do you measure something that can take so many shapes? If strength is the ability to end a fight instantly, if true power lives in a single punch that wipes out an elite fighter's balance and forces stoppages without debate, then Naoya Inoue is the stronger fighter. If strength is defined by erasing a man's ability to continue within minutes, by collapsing legs with perfect mechanics, by producing knockdowns that look identical because the technique is so flawless, then the monster carries the kind of power boxing respects on a biological level. But if strength is pressure, if real power is what happens when you refuse to let an opponent breathe, when 12 rounds feel like 12 hours, when the cumulative force becomes so overwhelming that a man literally turns away, then Nick Ball holds the more dangerous form of strength. If power is endurance weaponized, pace weaponized, mental suffocation weaponized, then the Menace carries something far more draining than explosive ability. He carries inevitability, lightning versus thunder, precision versus pressure, destruction in an instant versus destruction over time. Power in boxing has never been one thing. It has always been expression, a fighter's identity made visible in the most brutal way possible. And these two men, the monster and the Menace, embody two opposite but equally compelling forms of that expression. So who truly holds the power? Who frightens opponents more when the first bell rings? Is it Inoue, whose timing can end a fight before an opponent has even begun to understand the rhythm? Or is it Ball, whose relentless march forward steals hope and breath in equal measure? Tell us your answer below. Who carries the real power? And if you want more breakdowns like this, more deep dives into the fighters who redefine what strength can mean, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next story.